What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Top 5 Thursday. And this episode, again, is another one from my good buddy, Josh Sanders. He's just killing it. We didn't have a lot of entries this week. Pick it up, guys, please. But his, out of the four, yes, only four, damn, that we got, stuck out to me the most. The other three were actually pretty damn good, too. But I'm a sucker for Kurt Russell, and if you are not a part of the group and you're not Josh and you can't put it together, this is top 5 Kurt Russell movies, and this was a tough one to narrow down, people. I even told him in the fucking Facebook group, we should make this top 10, but I'm not trying to bend the rules. I actually just watched a Kurt Russell movie before this called Dark Blue. Don't know if you've seen that one. Is it going to make the list? Another solid movie. He's just got a gang of them, right? Okay, but without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. Number 5, and sometimes, guys, when I'm not a lazy piece of shit, I get movies out of all those movies from behind me because I have most of the movies I talk about. Number 5 is Breakdown. Have you seen Breakdown, Josh? Have you seen Breakdown, y'all? Breakdown is a solid flick. I think it's one of those movies from the 90s it's kind of forgotten about. You know, you had Joyride with the trucker. You need to see Breakdown with the trucker if you've not seen Breakdown. I think it's a very underrated movie. I only have the DVD because until recently, to my knowledge, they didn't even have a Blu-ray for it. That's how, forgotten about. It hadn't even got a fucking Blu-ray. Now, sure, if I'm wrong, fucking let me know. But I haven't seen one, and I believe they just now came out with one. I haven't had a chance to buy it. But it's the type of movie I'd like to upgrade with because it is that kind of quality. If you haven't seen it, it's Kurt Russell and his wife. Simple story. They trust this trucker, which I guess you should never do. He takes his wife. They're supposed to meet back at a place because, they had a breakdown. And he goes to the fucking store where they're supposed to meet or the little restaurant, and his wife never goes there. Now, why are you letting your wife go with a trucker unsupervised, Kurt Russell? Shame on you. But what it leads to is pulling out them heroics from Kurt Russell. It's a thriller. It's got you, not really horror, but thriller. I mean, it's horrifying, but that's exactly what it is in its roots. At the end of the day, it just thrills you to pieces. Breakdown is a solid fucking movie. At number 4, we do got a Blu-ray on this one, Death Proof. The underrated Quentin Tarantino movie. Now, people talk all about Quentin Tarantino, but they never talk about some Death Proof. Now, granted, Kurt Russell was in Hateful Eight. That was another one I thought maybe should make the list because I might even like it more than Death Proof. It's close. But, he's like a star among stars. He isn't the lead star necessarily. I think it's more Samuel Jackson. And this is his movie as the fucked up, crazy guy. And it's just fun seeing Kurt Russell basically as a serial killer. Stuntman Mike, they call him. And just like every Quentin Tarantino movie, it might be slow in parts, but there's a certain flair to it that really works. And they really do, they talk about that Grindhouse presents. It's got that old school Grindhouse feel. It even has the 70s little black splotches you see at times. You remember when you go to the movie theater and a black splotch would pop up. That kind of shit is in this movie. It just really takes you back. And I've seen other movies try to do this and you're like, it's forced, it doesn't work. This movie, Death Proof, it legitimately feels at times you're like, am I watching a movie from the 70s with Kurt Russell in it? And Rosario Dawson, other people like that. Great cast as usual, great dialogue as usual. And one of those movies that it doesn't necessarily feel like a lot happens, but enough happens and there's just enough flair on it. Plus, since not a whole lot, it brings out the realism of it. It's just, and yet it's so fantastical at the same. It's hard to explain, dude. Death Proof is a fucking great movie that does not get brought up enough. And I think it's because, well, Tarantino has a lot of great movies. So when you're bottom of the heap on a Tarantino list, you might be mentioned last, but you're still one of the better movies of the last however many years. That's just Tarantino for you, you know what I mean? Death Proof needs to get brought up more, 100%. And then at number 3, we have Bone Tomahawk. Jesus, this movie. Love the fucking cast in this one, dude. I mean, you got Jack from Lost in this one. Yeah, Kurt Russell, of course. And then you have, what's his name? Why am I blanking on the spot? I had the movie right here. Old dude from Insidious, Patrick Wilson. And then, of course, I'm just going to call him the dad from Step Brothers. And that group of people, of all people, go out to try to retrieve a person, a person that was stolen from him. Patrick Wilson's wife in the movie, guy from Insidious. And she was taken by some cannibals. And it is basically a journey to death. And that is what it is. It's a very, very long journey that just, you can see imminent death on their faces in the future. They even kind of know it. Maybe, what the hell's his name? Matthew Fox's character? I just know him as Jack from Lost. He'll always be Jack from Lost to me. You see it maybe on his face. He's a little cocky, but deep down he even knows, like, this is going to be some shit. And as soon as they do get done with that long journey and they do get there, strap the fuck in, because it goes off the charts ridiculous, and it takes no time for you to be like, damn, they really are in some shit. And this movie features one of the most gruesome, if not the most gruesome scene I've ever felt in a movie. Like, the look of it was horrid, the practical effects, the creativity and the horribleness of it, the just embarrassment you have for the person to go out like that, the embarrassment for the people that were forced to watch. I'll give you that much. If you have not seen it, I'm pretty positive Josh has. I think we talked about it before, but if you're watching this and you're someone else, I don't know, Bone Tomahawk is just, that's my kind of movie. That slow burn with good dialogue, great acting, and then you finally get that release at the end, and it's everything you could have dreamed for and more in some ways. In other ways, you're like, oh, God, even too much. But that is that surprise factor. They took it there. Yes, they did. In that movie, woo! Bone Tomahawk. Great performances. Great movie. At number 2, I'm ashamed of myself for not having a Blu-ray of this. I really don't know how it's happened. The Thing. I've already described how it's one of my favorite movies, where that it hits on my ranking. I can't give away, but The Thing is just an endless classic. I don't know how much I need to talk about it because we have a whole review on it, but it's the definition of practical effects. Literally, if you look up practical effects, The Thing will be right next to it. It's just perfection on that level. McCready is such a great character. He's just that guy that just has that, like, don't fuck with me attitude, but then once the shit hits the fan, he comes out of nowhere as also that leader that you even feel like as an audience member, like, I'm following this guy. I don't know if he knows what he's doing 100%, but he's at least confident in what he's doing, and he's at least going to try his damn best to get us out of here in one piece. Such a great character, one of Carpenter's very best. It is just an amazing, amazing all-around movie. And speaking of fucked up imagery, I mean, I was just talking about those practical effects. They really provide it. The Thing is an all-time great movie that just continues to age so well because of those practical effects. Take some notes, CGI guys. And last but not least, the reason I say one of Carpenter's best is because I got Big Trouble in Little China here, and Jack Burton has got to be one of my favorite characters ever. I mean, I don't know how to explain him. He's just like, when I was a kid, he was like the coolest guy ever. Now that I'm older, I'm like, this dude's a bit of a dipshit, but he's also lovable, and he still has that cool factor, but it's a different kind of cool factor. I don't even know if he's like badass. He's like badass in like a whimsical, I'm not as badass as I look kind of way, but I also kind of am. It's hard to explain, but Jack Burton is in a weird way kind of layered. He's just an awesome character. The all-around cast, the Mortal Kombat vibes. Come on, dude. You know that's where they had to have got Raiden from. All the superpowers. I mean, this movie just reeks my childhood. And like I said, Mortal Kombat vibe, it goes beyond just the movie. When I see this movie, I got the nostalgia of the movie going, but I also have the nostalgia of so many other things it reminds me of. It just reeks coolness, and there really isn't a movie like it, especially at its time. It is just, it's a special kind of movie. And you know what? This time, old Jack Burton, Kurt Russell, is behind the wheel of the semi-truck. There's even a fucking, like, monster in here that used to kind of trip me out when I was younger. And then, of course, the ending, hate to spoil it, but I mean, come on, this movie's from the 80s. You see the monster in the back of Jack Burton's truck, and I was always like, oh, part two, but sadly, we never got it. Carpenter was never much for sequels, but, yeah, I mean, it's one of Carpenter's best, if not his best. I might venture to say it's his best. Tough. But, I mean, it's a special kind of movie that you can't find anywhere else. And when you have that concoction with a great movie and a great cast, I don't know. It's hard to put a finger on it. Big Trouble in Little China just has a special vibe and a special persona that is hard to touch, hard to reach. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say about it. I mean, I could say a whole lot more about it, but try to keep it somewhat vague. This isn't, a review. It's just a top 5, Brandon. Calm down, calm down. But that is my top 5 Kurt Russell movies, man, and I appreciate y'all watching as usual. I'm going to get back in here. I did this last second. Got a million things going on, so y'all are lucky I went into my movies and picked out my 5. Just kidding. Totally kidding. But I appreciate y'all watching, though, man. Really do. As always, we love you guys. Follow us on Instagram at the official Box Office Banner. Follow us on Spotify and Podbean at official Box Office Banner. Follow us on YouTube at just the Box Office Banner. Just space, and then this is where you listen. Box Office Banner. Then we have Facebook group, Box Office Banner Movies, which is where I get these top 5 Thursday recommendations. And if it's not good enough, they're all good. What's the word I'm looking for? I mean, they're not all good. Ooh, y'all can handle that, right? We're cool by now, right? Me and everybody in the group probably not. But you know what I mean. If yours catches my eye the most, or if the other guys, because there's 3 other people with us, if you're somehow just catching this video, we're Box Office Banner is a crew of 4. If they feel like jumping in, you can get your top 5 done by us if that is something you're interested in. So join Box Office Banner Movies, and then of course look at us on the Project Louder Facebook page where you get these videos, the actual Box Office Banner videos, not these side videos like Top 5 Thursday first. And then, of course, everything Project Louder, all things Project Louder, the podcast group that we're a part of, the network we're a part of, they're all quality motherfuckers, dude. Go check them out. We appreciate everything y'all do. Keep up the good work, and we'll try to keep it up on our end. Thank you, guys, and thank you, Josh. Another killer Top 5, buddy.